Does your garden turn into cracked concrete in summer and an impassable swamp in spring? If so, you likely have heavy clay soil on your property. It might feel like nothing but weeds can ever thrive in such ground. But don't throw in the trowel and give up just yet. Today, we'll reveal 6 proven methods to transform your challenging clay into a fertile paradise for your plants. And make sure to stay until the very end, because our last tip might truly surprise you. To start, let's truly understand what clay soil actually is. Imagine sand. It's composed of large particles with plenty of space in between. Water and air can easily flow through it. Now clay is made of microscopic, flat particles that stick together in a dense mass, much like wet sheets of paper. This causes water to pool and stagnate, suffocating plant roots and making it impossible for beneficial microorganisms to thrive. But don't worry, we're going to fix all that. Let's dive right into the most important tip. The number 1 method, truly a golden rule for any clay soil, is incorporating organic matter. This is the bedrock. Without it, all your other efforts will be far less effective. What exactly does this mean? Remember how we discussed clay being microscopic particles that compact into a dense, lifeless lump? Well, organic matter physically gets between these particles, preventing them from clumping back together. It creates essential pores and channels for air and water, allowing your plant roots to breathe and drink. What's more, organic matter is a veritable feast for beneficial soil life. Bacteria, fungi, and our beloved earthworms absolutely thrive on it. As they process this organic material, they create humus, the most valuable substance that transforms soil into a living, well-structured, and truly fertile medium. So, what kind of organic matter should you use? Practically anything that was once a plant. Mature compost is the ideal choice. Well-rotted manure also works wonderfully. Just make sure it's not fresh, as that can burn your plant roots. Other excellent options include leaf mould, cut and dried grass, peat, and even aged sawdust, provided it's composted first. How do you apply it? It's incredibly simple. Each fall or spring, spread a generous 5 to 10 centimetre layer of organic material right on top of your garden beds. Then, gently work it in about half a spade's depth, or simply loosen the surface with a garden fork or hoe. There's no need to completely turn over the soil. Nature and the worms will take care of the rest for you. Think of it like baking a cake. Your clay is simply the flour, dense and unappetizing on its own. But organic matter, that's the eggs, the butter and the baking powder, all the ingredients that transform plain flour into a light, fluffy, fragrant cake. In exactly the same way, organic matter transforms lifeless clay into vibrant, breathing and incredibly fertile soil. Now let's move on to our second method, and this is where, my friends, we need to be particularly vigilant, because it's at this very step that many gardeners make a common pitfall that actually worsens their soil's condition. We're talking about adding sand. You've probably heard the dreaded warning, never mix clay with sand, or you'll create a concrete-like mess. And you know what? There's certainly some truth to that statement, but only if you're using the wrong type of sand. The crucial error lies in using fine, silty quarry sand. Its particles are so tiny that instead of loosening the clay, they actually fill and clog all the microscopic pores between the clay particles. The result is an incredibly dense, almost impenetrable and water-repellent mass. It's like trying to lighten flour by adding powdered sugar. The effect is exactly the opposite of what you want. Our secret weapon, however, is coarse-grained river sand. Its grains should be roughly the size of coarse grit, or even larger. These particles don't clog the pores. Instead, they act like miniature aggregate, creating a strong yet porous framework within the soil. They form thousands of microscopic drainage channels, allowing excess water to drain away easily and vital air to reach plant roots. It's crucial to incorporate this type of sand along with organic matter. Aim for about 1 bucket of sand per square metre, combined with a similar layer of compost. This way, you're simultaneously improving both the soil structure and its nutrient content. Remember this simple rule: coarse river sand is your ally. Fine quarry sand is your garden's foe. So we've covered the first two physical methods. Now let's talk about the biological approach to soil improvement. Method number 3 is planting cover crops, also known as green manures. So what exactly are these miracle plants? Cover crops are our small but incredibly hard-working helpers. We don't plant them for their berries or vegetables. We plant them to work wonders for our soil. How does it work? Firstly, many cover crops like mustard, oilseed radish or rye have very powerful and extensive root systems. These roots act like drills, penetrating dense clay layers and creating a multitude of tunnels and channels. They loosen the soil to depths no spade could ever reach. When the plant dies, its roots decompose, leaving behind a ready-made network for air and water. Secondly, there's the green matter. Once the cover crops grow sufficiently, but before they flower, we simply mow them down and incorporate them into the topsoil. This is the same principle as adding organic matter, but we're growing that organic matter right on site. It decomposes, enriching the soil with humus and nutrients and feeding beneficial soil microorganisms. Which cover crops are best for clay? Legumes like vetch, peas or lupins are excellent choices. They not only loosen the soil, but also fix nitrogen. Cruciferous plants like mustard and radish also work wonderfully. They even help disinfect the soil. And winter rye is a true champion for building root mass. Planting cover crops is like sending your soil to a spa. You're giving it a chance to rest, rejuvenate, and gain strength before the next planting season. It's a simple, inexpensive, and incredibly effective way to bring even the most stubborn clay back to life. Alright, we've already added organic matter, the right kind of sand, and even planted beneficial crops. But what if I told you we could trigger a chemical process that makes clay soil improve itself? It sounds like magic, but it's pure science. And this is our fourth method, gypsum treatment. Don't be intimidated by the technical term. It's actually quite simple. Gypsum, or calcium sulfate as it's scientifically known, has an amazing property. It causes the tiniest dust-like clay particles, which tend to stick together in a dense clump, to gather into larger clumps, or as agronomists call them, aggregates. This process is called coagulation. Imagine adding a special substance to a glass of cloudy water, and suddenly all the murkiness collects into flakes and settles at the bottom, leaving the water clear. Gypsum does something similar to soil. It glues the tiny clay particles together, creating that desired crumbly, granular structure we're aiming for. As a result of this restructuring, the soil becomes much looser. Its aeration and water drainage improve. Plant roots find it easier to grow, and excess moisture no longer pools on the surface, but drains deeper into the soil. How and when should you do this? Gypsum treatment is best done in the autumn. The application rate depends on the density of your clay, but on average, it's about 200 to 500 grams of construction gypsum or plaster of Paris per square metre. It should be evenly spread over the surface and lightly worked into the soil. Important note, gypsum treatment isn't a one-time fix. Its effects last for several years, but to maintain the structure, the procedure can be repeated every 3 to 5 years. It's an excellent additional tool in our arsenal that helps accelerate the transformation of dull clay into a fertile oasis. So far, we've looked at 4 methods that require time and patience. But what if you're eager to plant delicate roses or harvest juicy carrots this very year without waiting for all the clay in your garden to become perfect? There's an answer, and it's our 5th method, creating raised beds, also known as garden boxes. So what makes this method so brilliant? It's simple. We don't fight the clay, we work around it. We simply stop trying to dig into that unyielding soil and instead create a new, ideal world for our plants right on top of it. A raised bed is essentially a bottomless box placed directly on the ground. You can build one from planks, slate, metal, bricks, pretty much anything. The height of the box can range from 20 to 30 centimetres, about 8 to 12 inches, to half a metre, about 20 inches, or even more. The higher the bed, the less contact your plant roots will have with the underlying clay. Now for the most exciting part, filling the bed. It's much like building a layered cake. At the very bottom, directly on the ground, lay down cardboard or newspapers. This prevents perennial weeds from growing up from below. Next comes a coarse drainage layer. Branches, wood chips, old plant debris. Above that, add a layer of partially decomposed organic matter, grass clippings, leaves, kitchen scraps. Finally, the top layer, about 20 to 30 centimetres, 8 to 12 inches deep, should be filled with an ideal soil mix. This could be a blend of store-bought potting mix, compost, peat and sand. What are the benefits? Firstly, you'll get a harvest in the very first year. Secondly, the soil in these beds warms up much faster in spring. Thirdly, they're easier to maintain, no more excessive bending. And fourthly, while you're enjoying the bounty from your raised beds, the organic matter at their base slowly decomposes, gradually improving the very clay soil beneath them. It's the perfect solution for anyone seeking both quick results and long-term benefits. We've talked about the physics, biology, and even the chemistry of soil improvement. But in all our discussions, we've overlooked the most crucial, hard-working, and absolutely free helpers in our gardens. And that brings us to our sixth, and perhaps most delightful method, inviting natural soil engineers, specifically earthworms. Many tend to underestimate these humble workers. But, at your peril, earthworms are, quite literally, nature's tiny titans, land reclaimers, and fertility factories all rolled into one. What we do with a shovel and a wheelbarrow, they do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they do it far better than we ever could. So, what exactly do these subterranean specialists do? First off, they're constantly aerating the soil. As they tunnel through, they create an intricate network of pathways, forming a perfect system for drainage and aeration. These tunnels allow water and air to penetrate deep into the soil, reaching plant roots where they're needed most. Secondly, they're little recycling machines. They consume organic matter, processing it through their digestive systems. The output? An invaluable product, nutrient-rich biohumus, also known as worm castings. This is a concentrated, perfectly balanced fertilizer, packed with all the essential nutrients plants need, in a form they can easily absorb. Biohumus dramatically improves soil structure, making it crumbly, well aerated, and excellent at retaining moisture. So how do you entice these invaluable allies to your stubborn clay soil? It's simpler than you think. You just need to create the right conditions for them. And worms, much like us, appreciate two things: good food and a comfortable home. Their food, that's all the organic matter we've been discussing. Compost, well-rotted manure, and even fallen leaves. And their cosy home, that's mulch. Make it a habit to keep your garden beds consistently covered with a layer of grass clippings, straw, or shredded bark. Mulch protects the soil from drying out and overheating, helps retain vital moisture, and creates the perfect environment for worms to thrive and multiply. Now here's a crucial tip. Don't just buy worms from a store and release them onto bare, unamended clay. They'll either pack their bags and leave, or simply perish. Instead, focus on creating that inviting, all-you-can-eat buffet and a truly comfortable habitat. Do that, and they'll come to you naturally, from all over the surrounding area. Nurture your worms and watch them transform your challenging clay into the most productive, vibrant soil you've ever seen. And now, for the exciting moment we've promised. Do you think you need to pick just one method and stick to it? Think again. The real secret to success lies in a combination of approaches and a healthy dose of patience. The true breakthrough happens when you stop fighting the clay and start working with it, treating it like a living, breathing organism. You're not battling the soil, you're nurturing it. In the fall, generously amend with compost. In spring, sow cover crops on any vacant garden beds. Consider building 1 or 2 raised beds for your most particular plants. And always, mulch your soil with grass clippings or straw. Mulch locks in moisture, shields from overheating, and creates a perfect home and food source for those essential earthworms. This isn't a fight. It's a slow, rewarding process of building a living, breathing ecosystem right beneath your feet. Quite a shift in perspective, wouldn't you say? So, let's recap. Improving clay soil is definitely not a sprint. It's a marathon. Organic matter, the right kind of sand, cover crops, gypsum application, raised beds, and of course, our tiny but mighty earthworm allies. These are your most powerful tools. Thank you for watching this video all the way to the end. If you found this information helpful, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more practical tips for your garden. What's your experience working with clay soil? Perhaps you have your own secret, 7th method you swear by. Share it in the comments below. Let's build the ultimate collection of gardening wisdom together.